everyone, it's your girl Umu and I'm back at it again with another video today. Y'all like my hair? Is it cute? I styled it because I'm a bad bitch. But hi, if you're new, welcome. We're back again with another installment, another episode of Beatdown Breakdown, a series on my channel where I talk about various films, TV shows, probably books. I always say probably books, but I'm most likely never going to do books. And today, of course, y'all already know what the deal is. We're talking about Attack on Titan Season 4, Episode 3, and Episode 4, period, point blank. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably like the thing that I'm like most like anticipating on doing on my channel. Otherwise, I would not be filming, I swear to God. Like I'm that lethargic that I'm just like, oh my God, like I don't even want to film. But today I had to film, of course, because we have to talk about the craziness that is Episode 3 and 4. And if you're new, welcome. If you want to check out some more videos in my Beatdown Breakdown playlist, I will be putting it somewhere like up above here. But yeah, I thought we should just get started on the craziness that is Episode 3 and Episode 4 of Attack on Titan. Also, if my skin looks a little bit crazy, I am taking care of it. So you guys have to forgive me for that. Like, I've just been lazy, bro. Like, I don't be filming like that. It's a horrible habit. Like, I am going to start filming some more because I feel like I should be productive in filming like new shit. Especially like story times. I wanted to actually bring back story times into my whole routine. And I was also hoping that probably in a little bit I'm going to be starting like a skincare video because I've been trying to take care of my skin and my hyperpigmentation. All thanks to my best friend Jita. How you doing, baby? How you doing? Also, I'm currently right now like drinking coffee because I am running on like such little amount of sleep. Like, you guys would not even believe it. My sleep schedule has been for like the past 3 weeks. It's actually horrible, but coffee doesn't do anything for me, so pretty sure I'm probably gonna have to start doing cocaine. But yes, welcome to my channel. We're here to talk about Attack on Titan, the second most addictive thing in my life after BTS, to be honest. And I already did a review of the first 2 episodes, and I will also be putting the link somewhere up above over here so you guys can go check that out. Realistically, it's only like me and like 40 other people that have probably watched this video. You know what's funny is that my friends were just like, oh my God, like you should stick to doing K-pop because it seems like it's gonna garner you views. And I'm like, that's so inauthentic. Like, I do love K-pop, but I don't want my channel to solely just be K-pop, even though I'm very, very grateful for the 2,000 subscribers and my Blackpink video that got 100 and something thousand views, right? But I was just like, this is not a reaction channel, because this is really not a reaction channel, like. But anyways, we are going to get started on Episode 3, and that is titled The Door to Hope. The episode is basically just like Reiner's story, really. Everything that's led up to why he is the way he is. Why is Reiner such a complex character? Because from what we can remember, if you've ever watched the show, Season 2, we got a revelation that Reiner is actually not the good guy, really, quote unquote. He's an incredibly complex character, one of the most complex characters I think in anime history. Like, you don't know whether or not you hate Reiner, but you also feel bad for him after this episode, and I'm going to get into it. The episode starts with a young Reiner being talked to by his mother, and she's basically just running down and explaining why is it that the Eldians of Marley have to live the way that they live. And we also get a revelation that Reiner is actually Marleyan and that his father is actually a Marleyan citizen. However, because Reiner is Eldian and they're kind of the suppressed group of people who are forced to live in internment zones, they cannot live the full lifestyle of a Marleyan citizen. Reiner comes from a broken family in which it's only really just him and his mom. And the episode mainly focuses on young Reiner, his path. How did he become the person that he became as an adult? What events have ultimately shaped him to be the incredibly complex character of this story? Early on, from a young age, Reiner was enlisted as a part of the Marley Warriors unit. Again, that special child war criminal unit that fights in wars. He was enlisted to be training into the warrior unit, special group of Eldian children who are going to have extensive rigorous military training so that they can learn to fight and ultimately actually be in competition with one another to inherit one of the 6 Titan shifters. Flashback scene we see of Zeke Yeager, Annie, Bertolt, Marco, Porco, Peak, and Reiner, and Zeke is telling them finally time for 6 of the 7 of them to actually inherit the 6 Titan powers that are under Marley's control. And Reiner's really excited about that. He's just like, finally I can become a Marleyan. And Porco Porco is just like, psych, you would have thought, my dude, like, you are not strong, you are really nothing. The only good thing or great thing about you that Marley would even consider making you into one of the Titan shifters is that you're just loyal, and that's it. Reiner and Porco actually get into an argument, and Reiner actually threatens to tell the commanding officer and the military that Porco might actually be one of the restorationists, the secret rebellious group that's against Marley, and Porco is not having any of that. But then Porco's brother Marcel, did I call him, what I call him, Mark? What I called him before, but I'm sorry, it's Marcel. But Marcel comes and stops the fight just in time. Ryder's heartbroken that he's not going to be a child war criminal, and therefore he sits there and is just like pitying himself, saying like, well, you know, he's right, like, I am never going to be out here being great as one of the honorary Marleyans. Also, Annie's there on her usual shit, and it's actually really funny to see that the entire time that this whole fight and argument was happening, she was more focused on crushing a bug, which is what she basically did like in the first season of Attack on Titan, when she was out here being the female Titan, just crushing people and murdering them. And as Bertolt and Reiner are actually talking, Bertolt asks Reiner, like, is that really your goal? Like, are you really that desperate to become one of the 9 Titan shifters and become an honorary Marleyan? And it's so freaking sad, really, that these are children that really are just like, yeah, I'm willing to die at an early age just so I can have this fake ass, stupid ass citizenship that's supposed to be like an honorary thing. And because of his need to impress his mother and to impress his father, Reiner makes it his mission to destroy the devils on Paradis Island. From another side of the world, really, we see young Eren, who is sitting there just gazing up into the clouds. In a lot of ways, there are very similar parallels between Eren and Reiner. Oftentimes, Reiner and Eren are kind of pitted against each other as being just like these enemies, but they really are similar in a lot of ways. Both of them are doing whatever they think is right at the end of the day. We get an introduction into the powers of these 6 Titan shifters. I've already read the manga, so I already knew everything that was happening, but I was like, oh my god, like, it's so cool to see this all happening again. We get an introduction and a brief description of each of the 6 Titan shifters, and the warrior unit, who have all inherited these Titan shifter powers, are actually fighting a rival nation for Marley, and Commander Maggot and another commanding officer on the side watching everything. And Commander Maggot is just like, isn't it insane that we're trusting the fate of this nation to a bunch of children? Which is a good point, to be honest, and they're going to mention this throughout the story, really. It's really interesting that children are actually the ones to fight this war. If you really think about it, it is easier to convince a child to do horrible things. Porco is pissed that Ryder is actually the one to inherit one of the 6 Titan shifter powers. Porco was pretty confident that he was going to be the one to inherit said power. Before a fight breaks out between them, Marcel actually stops the fight and actually turns to Reiner and apologizes, in which Reiner doesn't understand why is it that Marcel is apologizing for what happened. Also, I'm sorry, I should have also said this. Marcel and Porco are actually brothers. Anyways, our war criminals our war criminals are going through the streets of the Liberio internment zone and are being celebrated and venerated as these heroes. And Reiner actually sees his father, and Reiner chases down his father into a shop, I believe, I don't know where, like one of the barrack shops or a butcher shop, I don't know where he is, and approaches him and said, oh my god, like, you're my father, right? Like, I just wanted to let you know that me and mom are honorary Marleyans. We can actually be together and we can actually be a family now. And before Reiner can even finish his whole speech, his father said, get that energy away from me, like, you damn demon, you're a monster, did your mother put you up to this? I cannot even imagine how traumatizing and what an effect that must have had on Reiner, because Reiner's whole reason for wanting to be a warrior and one of the Titan shifters was that he wanted to unite his family. He wanted to have his mother to be happy and be united back with their father, but their father wants absolutely nothing to do with them. His father is just like, if people were to find out that you were my son, I'd be ruined. And I'm just like, well, you ain't either. Anyways, the warrior unit has been shipped off to Paradise. The warrior group consisting of Marcel, Annie, Bertolt, and Reiner are on their ways to the walls on Paradise Island, and they're actually stopping to rest for the night. Bertolt asks the question of whether or not the king of the walls is actually going to use the fawning titan power to even stop them, seeing as how they're going to come and break the walls. And Marcel, who's the leader of the warriors group, is actually apologizing to Reiner and telling him, like, I am so sorry that you have been placed with this burden of inheriting one of the 9 titans. And Reiner's just like, what are you talking about? Like, this is such a prestigious thing. Like, we've been selected as being the heroes of the world. And Marcel's just like, Reiner, like, you don't understand. Like, you weren't chosen as a warrior because of your skills or your anything, really. You were chosen specifically because I talked you up and I talked down my brother because I wanted to save him. Marcel ultimately told Marleyan officials and the Marleyan government that he thinks that Reiner is a better fit soldier, even though that's really not the case at all. In all skills and grades, as in the warrior unit, Porco is a better warrior than Reiner. And Reiner's shook by this. And then we finally see what actually happened to Marcel in full, right? Like, we knew that a titan, who is actually Ymir from the 104th Cadet Corps, prior to her shifting back into a human being, she was turned into a titan. If you don't know about that story, I don't know what to tell you, you're far behind. Ymir had actually popped out of the ground and was actually hiding underneath their campsite or near their campsite, and she had happened to eat Marcel and obtain the power of the Jaws Titan. So the warriors group was actually officially 4 people, but now it's down to 3. Reiner and the team managed to escape and run away, and Reiner runs so fast away from the whole commotion that he totally abandoned his teammates. Annie and Bertolt catch up with Reiner, and Annie states, you know what? This mission, you know what, we lost Marcel, we lost our leader, we need to go back to Marley, we need to tell them everything that happened so we can change our plan. But even if they were to go back to Marley, it would be no benefit to them because they will most likely have to give up their Titan Shifter powers and be eaten by another set of warriors instead. And so Reiner, in order to spare his life and to basically spare his family, really, says no, we have to continue moving forward. And Annie is not having it, and she's just like, are you insane? We lost our leader. And Annie actually beats the living shit out of Reiner. Like, she's just like, you manipulative son of a bitch. At the end of the day, Marley is shit. I don't really care at the end of the day whatever it is that you want to do. I'm going to make it home regardless because I made a promise to my father. Reiner, after getting his ass beat, comes out of nowhere and puts Annie in a chokehold and is just like, if you need a leader, I'm finna be the leader, period, point blank. And then we see the events of the first episode of the scene of when the Colossal Titan had broke down the wall at Shiganshina district. We see a young Eren, Mikasa, and Armin, but we see it more from the side of the antagonist. And we see a young Bertolt, after breaking down the walls, leaving his Titan, and turns around and sees the Smiling Titan herself. And I don't want to ruin who the Smiling Titan is if you haven't watched the show, but if you're watching this video and you haven't watched anything else, the Smiling Titan, who is Eren's stepmother? Like, what do you call that? Like, Eren's dad's first wife. Would that be considered a stepmother, right? I mean, it's not like she's married to him or anything like that anymore. The Smiling Titan actually passes Bertolt, doesn't even really blink an eye at Bertolt at all, and continues moving forward. And it's almost like the Smiling Titan is on a mission, right? Isn't that crazy? Because what we remember from when Dita Yeager, who was Grisha Yeager's first wife, before she turned, she promised Grisha that in whatever form that she was going to take, she would still find him. Anyways, after breaking down the walls, the kids have made it to the refugee camp where everyone else is at. We also see again the backs of Eren, Mikasa, and Armin, and Reiner's telling them and reassuring his friends, like, I will be the leader that you all need. And Reiner's so desperate to prove to people that he's this reliable human being. And fast forward to years later, where we see Reiner joining the training corps of the military, in which Commander Keith Shadis asks him, what did you come to train in this military for? And Reiner says, to save humanity. Because Reiner ultimately does believe that that's what he's doing. He thinks that whatever he's doing and all the lives that he's killing is ultimately meant to save humanity in the end. These children have been conformed and taught to hate themselves and to think that by destroying their own people, they're ultimately saving humanity. They think that everyone inside the walls are these demons and devils, and that they all deserve to die, and that the world would be a much better place without them. The next scene, we see a man has hung himself, and the same man was actually talking to the warrior unit probably like a few days before his death, saying that he's the only person from his village that managed to escape in time, and he left behind like 3 kids and whatever. This man is the only man that's left alive in his village, and that he came and escaped. Then we see a young Annie following none other than Kenny Ackerman, and it was really funny. And a young Annie is following Kenny Ackerman, and if you haven't realized, actually what's been happening was that when the warrior unit had broken in, they continued their search to take the founding titan. Annie gets confronted by Kenny, and she tells him that the reason why she's following him is that she believes him to be her father, and Kenny does not believe that shit one bit. But Annie catches on to that and actually manages to escape. The thing is that with Annie, it explains why her behavior in season 1 was just like, I'm over this whole entire thing. Because during the day she's training, and at night she's out going through the sewers into the capital and into the interior to find out more information about the royal family and more information about the founding titan. Annie actually wants to give up the whole sneaking out at night into the interior to look for more information, because she feels like it's useless and pointless, and that the warrior group should ultimately give up this mission. Like, they've been in the walls for like a few years now. They should just take whatever information that they've gotten and just head back to Marley and let that be the end of that. Reiner's not having any of it, and instead Reiner is just like, no, we have to keep moving forward. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna break down Wall Rose. And this is prior to the events of Frost, and he tells him, you want to break another wall, but what about our friends? At this time, they've already been in the military now for a few years. They've gotten to know Eren and them and Mikasa and them. Then as they're leaving after this discussion, Bertolt recounts the old man who had told him his story of how he was the only sole survivor of his village, and he didn't really understand why. So that the man had died immediately after. I don't really understand what that means. Is that after the man had told this story, basically what happened was that either Reiner and Annie actually killed this man to take his story. As a cover story, right? Since he was the only sole survivor of his village, nobody would be able to look at Reiner, Bertolt, and Annie and be like, you guys are not from that village. They used his story as their cover story. First time that we really get introduced to Reiner and Bertolt in season 1, Bertolt had said that same exact story to Eren and Armin. Another flashback memory. Eren and everybody are training on their ODM gear, and you know, Eren's out here being a little bitch about everything, and he's just like, why can't I get strong like you and Mikasa? And Reiner really does see a lot of himself in Eren. Like, he really does see a lot of his own personal struggles in Eren, and that's why Eren has had so much respect for him in the past, right? Reiner's viewed as this big brother that everybody can rely on, because again, that's what he's always wanted to be accepted and respected and venerated as a soldier and as a reliable person in life. And as they're having the discussion in which Reiner reassures him, like, all you have to do is keep moving forward, keep pushing, and you'll get stronger. We also see present Reiner holding a gun to his mouth, attempting to actually commit suicide because he's so PTSD stricken. He's so stricken by the amount of pain that he's caused in the world. And right before he actually shoots himself, he hears Falco kick the walls right behind him. He gets reminded again that he can't just end his life. The warrior unit relies on him at the end of the day, especially Gabby and Falco. And Falco's outside, and Falco's frustrated because he feels as though he can never be able to catch up to Gabby. And on his way home from training, Falco passes by the hospital in which none other then Mr. Daddy Eren himself, Daddy Eren himself, calls over Falco and just like, hey, thanks for helping me that day when I fell over and all that stuff. And it's just like, hey, you look like you're doing well, man. And Eren's just like, well, actually, I'm actually not sick. Like, I'm not sick at all. I don't have to be in this hospital, but I don't have to be in this hospital for emotional trauma. It's all a lie. Eren's excuse for being in the hospital is that he lost his memory, but he confesses to Falco that he hasn't lost his memory at all. It's just that he doesn't want to go home just yet and face his family. And asks him like, will you snitch on me for being in this hospital when there's nothing wrong with me? And Falco tells him, no, I wouldn't even do that. Eren notices that Falco is actually hurt and asks him, is that from your warrior training? And Falco confides in him that he doesn't think that he's actually strong enough to inherit one of the Titan shifter powers because Gabby bests him at almost everything. But Eren tells him that that's actually a good thing, that Falco is a good guy and he shouldn't inherit one of the Titan shifter powers because he deserves to live a long life. Eren also starts to begin to talk about how horrible war is, and he talks about how every day he thinks, why is it that things had to turn out the way they turned out? And he says that if people knew that this is the ultimate result of war and how damaging it is, then nobody would ever go to war. But people are forced to do things sometimes against their will, and sometimes they do things that will harm other people. Even though there's people who do things against their will, there are also people who continue to do whatever it takes at the end of the day. People who do things knowing how damaging it is, but still have to continue to move forward whatever the cost. Really what's going on with Eren. He realizes that he has to continue to push forward and do whatever it is that he has to achieve because they have no choice in the matter. And this was quite a lot. Like, I freaked out once again when I saw this because I was just like, oh my god, we are not ready for this. Like, how do I even put this into words? And that's the end of the episode. And the next episode is titled From One Hand to Another. The episode opens with Reiner stopping Falco in the middle of the street and asking him like, hey, where are you going? And it seems like Falco's on a mission with a renowned purpose, and he's actually on his way to the mailbox because Eren had entrusted him with a letter and said, Falco, can you do me a favor? Can you actually send out this letter? Falco's like, yeah, sure, like, no problem, fam. Where is this letter heading to? And Eren tells him, well, it's actually for my family. I wanted to tell them that I'm here and that I'm doing just fine. Now, family could mean different things, right? Because it could mean that he's actually meaning to send this to Mikasa and Armin. Mikasa, Armin, and the Scout Regiment, right? Because those are his family, those are his friends. But family could also mean Zeke Yeager, Eren's half brother. And I was like, damn, Eren, like, you really ain't shit. Like, what the fuck? Eren is crazy. Like, Eren is going to ultimately be using Falco to do his dirty work while he's in Marley. Anyways, the Tiber family has come to visit. If you guys don't remember who the Tiber family is, that family that's the current possessor of the Warhammer. We are introduced to the head of the Tiber family, Willie Tiber, with his long 613 wig looking like Yoongi in the Dwetchatime music video. Willie tells Maggot that the whole reason for his visit actually is to visit the statue of Helos. And Helos was this kind of mythological hero of Marley that supposedly took down the devil of all earth, and is the savior of humanity. And Helos is actually representative of the spirit of Marley, right? Kind of like the savior of the world. And Maggot tells him, yep, it's definitely the spirit of Marley, alright, where it's just hollow on the inside and it's just full of on the outside. Also, Commander Maggot is actually in support of Marley and conscription because I think what's going on with Marley and Eldia, especially its the Marleyan military, is that most of its soldiers, if not all of its soldiers, are actually Eldians, and that the Marleyans themselves don't actually fight their own wars. They actually use the Eldian people to be their soldiers, and Maggot doesn't really think that that's right because the Marleyan people only know war from the newspapers, right? So, and because they personally don't fight their own wars, they really don't realize how ugly and how harmful war is and how meaningless it is. And so Maggot is in support of the conscription of Marleyan citizens into the army. But even if that was the case, Maggot also says that it's already too late at the end of the day because the world is already headed to doom anyways. There's already too many things that have happened, too many people have had to die at this point, that Marley is ultimately heading to self-destruction. And Maggot actually figures out that Willie is most likely the ruler of Marley, and Willie assures him that yes, you are right. The Tiber family is actually the ones who are in control of Marley, and that we watch everything from the shadows because we decided not to involve ourselves in war. We gave Marley the opportunity to find peace within themselves, but clearly that's not the case because y'all are still fighting with other rival nations. Willie also informs Maggot that the festival coming up that's supposed to be happening in a bit, Willie has a plan for Marley because all of the dignitaries all over the world and all of the countries all over the world will be gathered to this festival, and Willie plans to make an announcement very soon that will solve all of Marley's problems and probably save Marley. There's actually this really funny scene of Porco coming up the stairs and Peak just being on the floor. Because in her Titan form, since she's the car Titan, she usually is on all fours, and she's usually in her Titan form for so long, for months at a time, that she's more used to that than anything. And I'm just like, Peak is so freaking weird. Like, what? Anyways, Reiner and the warrior group are actually talking with a commanding officer about their next plan of attack. They're renewing their operation to take down Paradise. And again, I'm sick of the Marleyan government. Like, they're so, oh my god, they're just so trash. Like, the general is just like, I don't want to hear anymore because you're the devil. And I'm just like, what? Why do we do this? I'm just like, trash, all of y'all. And that's exactly why all of y'all deserve to die. Like y'all ain't shit. Like, I hate y'all so much. And anyways, after that war meeting, Falco actually bests Gabby at a race, and Gabby is not too happy about that at all. Gabby's just like, what are you doing? Like, why are you out here trying to best me at the end of the day? One, like, I'm already the better soldier than you. Two, your family's going to be honorary Marleyans anyways because your brother is going to be inheriting the Beast Titan. Why do you have to compete against me? And Gabby is so oblivious. She really is the female Eren. I don't even care. She's so oblivious to Falco's feelings for her that she doesn't really understand why is it that he's going so hard to beat her. And she still does not understand what's going on. Also, like, Zofia is like the mood 24/7. Anyways, Sophia, Gabby, and Udo are on their way home, and they stop by the plaza where the festival is being set up. And the plaza is actually being set up almost as if it's like a theater, really, right? Udo talks about how after this festival, clearly all of their problems are going to be solved, right? The world will realize that the Eldians are not evil people at all. And Gabby's just like, you really don't think that that's gonna happen? He's just like, no. Udo also understands that no matter what happens, at the end of the day, whether or not the island of Paradise gets destroyed, it still doesn't change the world's view of Eldians in general. Most of the world would like to wipe out the Eldians, so the festival is kind of just moot at this point. Gabby is just so freaking brainwashed that she's just like, well, we Eldians that are not living inside the three worlds are obviously good Eldians, and obviously the world is going to realize that we're good and that they're the bad people and they need to be killed. At the setting up of the festival, Willie and Commander Maggot are actually talking to each other, and for some reason they realize that the people of the walls on Paradise have most likely infiltrated Marley. And I don't really remember how they got this news in the manga, but I guess it's going to be revealed later on in the anime. But in the next scene, Falco's actually visiting Eren again in the hospital, and Eren is actually using the name Mr. Kruger instead, which was the last name of the former Attack Titan, the dude who was the owl who gave his power to Grisha in like the end of like season 3. Remember that episode? Okay. And Eren, using the name Mr. Kruger, is basically thanking Falco again for his job for sending out the letters. Falco notices that there's a baseball glove next to Eren and asks him, is that for your family? And Eren says, yes, it's actually from my family. They thought it would be a good thing that I actually try to remain active. But obviously, if you're dense as f about this show, the people of the walls don't know nothing about baseball, and it's obviously the baseball glove is tell us that Eren and Zeke are in cahoots with each other. Anyways, as Falco is leaving to head home, a man approaches Eren, and this is actually Eren's grandfather, aka Grisha's dad, aka one of the worst fathers in the history of fathers, period, point blank. Eren's grandfather, Dr. Yeager. Dr. Yeager asks him, hey, can I sit down for a second? And Eren's just like, I mean, sure, you could, my dude, like, I ain't gonna stop you. Dr. Yeager notes that, hey, you know, you've been hanging around with that Falco kid. You seem to be getting along quite well with each other. And Dr. Yeager unprovoked, starts talking about the Grice family, Falco's family, the Grice family, and that their uncle was actually a part of the Eldian Restorationists. Remember that group that Grisha was a part of that had to turn into Titans, that ended up getting caught by the military because Zeke had ratted them out. But Dr. Yeager is saying all this, and he's also saying that because of what happened with their uncle, the Grice family pushed for Falco and Colt to become warriors, and because Colt has been selected now as the next inheritor for the Beast Titan, their family is ultimately respected again. And Eren's just sitting there like, why are you here? You want a cookie? What the fuck? Eren does not understand why is it that this random old man is sitting next to him. But Eren obviously realizes and knows already that this is his grandfather without him having to even say that, hey, I'm your grandfather, because he has the memories of his father in him thanks to the power of the attack titan from his dad. And Eren's asking him like, why are you telling me all of this? Like, what do you want? And Dr. Yeager tells him, I'm telling you this because I want you to stop asking favors for Falco. And he's just like, go back home, go back to your family, and try to enjoy your life with your family, and try to live with as little regrets as possible. Eren's just like, regrets, huh? Like, so it's like, do you have any regrets about your family? And that triggers Dr. Yeager. He just goes on this psychotic mental breakdown and reliving the memories and the emotional trauma that happened to his family. All of that has led to him just breaking down emotionally, and Eren's just like, somebody get this motherfucker away from me, he's crazy. But it actually turns out that Dr. Yeager is not even a doctor at the hospital. He's actually one of the mental patients, or at least like one of the patients in the hospital that is being treated. Next scene is the night, I believe? It is the night before the festival, and the young warrior unit are actually being used as servers for this freaking party with all these dignitaries around the world. Y'all use them to fight these wars, y'all use them for servers. Like what is this? Like, I don't understand. But yeah, they were going hella hard serving and stuff. Asshole makes a comment about how the Devil Bloods are handling the plates, and that must be why the food stinks. Udo is triggered to the point where he actually knocks into this woman and spills wine all over her kimono. Udo freaks out thinking that he's going to get in trouble, right? The woman actually saves him and spares him, and actually says, oh my god, like, I totally spilled wine on my kimono. I'm so clumsy. I was actually asking this young man to help me out. Gabby notes that this person, the woman who is of Eastern descent, must be from the nation of Hizuru. I guess in the story of Attack on Titan, this world version of Japan, because she's wearing kimono. But also take a note that she's also Asian. You're going to find out later on in the story that her country is actually where Mikasa's descended from. Anyways, there's a dude who makes like this speech that was like other trash that did not make any sense whatsoever, but just in time for Willie to step in. But also Willie is like a well-respected Eldian because of him being a Tiber, and so many people love this dude, and I'm just like, what's so special about him besides his 613 wig? Like, I don't understand. Also, like, we see like someone from Africa, like I don't know who this person was, and I'm just like, what country are you from, sir? Are you from Ghana? Are you from Nigeria? Like what is this nation called? Like, there's a woman named Nambia as well, and I'm like, is that mildly racist? Like, oh, like, what is that all about? And Willie makes a toast and stating that tomorrow the festival will be held in the Liberia internment zone, which is where the Eldians live, and that is the home of the people that share the same ancestry as him. He goes on to this whole thing about like, I understand the world's desire to exterminate all Eldians, but I do have a solution to end this problem of the war and of the Eldian crisis. The next day, Gabby wakes up and there's a festival happening, and it was quite a cute scene to watch, to see all the kids freak out. They enjoy ice cream. They get to enjoy some ice cream, some pizza, some sandwiches. They enjoy the festival so much that Gabby is stuffed full, and she's just like, oh my god, like, I wish we could have festivals all the time, because in the internment zone they don't really get to experience that much. And Gabby is so content and raving about, I feel like things are going to change and there's going to be so many different things that are happening. Optimistic about the future, but obviously this is Attack on Titan, so nothing is going to be great for really that long. And that's basically the end of the episode, but we end up getting an extra scene at the very end in which it is the night of the festival, which we're probably going to see next week. It is the night of the festival, and we get a preview of what's probably going to be happening in the next episode, in which Falco pulls away Reiner from the festival and says, hey, can you come with me please? Like, I have to show you something. And Zeke tells him like, yeah, like it's totally okay. The play that Willie organized doesn't start for a few minutes, so you can probably do whatever it is that Falco is telling you to go. And Zeke knows what's happening and obviously is in cahoots with Eren. For the first time ever, Reiner and Eren are face to face with each other, and I cannot wait to see what's going to happen next week. Like, I was actually legitimately freaking out at this part, and that's basically the end of that. I am going to be right back. I'm gonna finish up my makeup. All right, I think I've finished. I think I've completed this look. Did I beat the face? Did I do a good job? And that's on what? That's on period. Anyways, that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching this video, for watching my beatdown breakdown of Attack on Titan season 4 episode 3 and 4. And I guess we'll have to see each other in 2 weeks actually, right? Because that's when I'm supposed to be filming, because I'm supposed to be doing 2 episodes. Please do follow me on all of my social media, both Twitter and Instagram are Pharaoh Umi. And if you like this video, please do like this video as well, and subscribe as well, and turn on post notifications. And what else? Like, I've only been doing this YouTube shit for like 3 days, to be honest. Like, give me a little bit, y'all. We're still trying to develop a coherent enough script that I can use for each one of my videos. But thank you again so much for watching this video, and I guess we'll have to see each other in the next one. Bye!